Hey y'all, it's Miranda. Welcome back and welcome to my new chalkboard display setup. As soon as I completed this chalkboard display, I was so excited to use it as my backdrop for YouTube videos. When I thought about doing something different for my backdrop, I really didn't know what I wanted to do. So once I finished this, it was like, okay, yes, that's gonna be it. Of course, with it being my birthday month, I really wanted to make it something special for this top 5 artist of the month. And it's just really nice to have this completed so that I can have something that really goes well together with the whole theme of just, you know, celebrating November and celebrating these 5 artists that I have for y'all. So with all that being said and it being such a special month with these 5 artists, let's just jump right into it. My first artist is a really unique and glamorous one for sure. He really concentrates on doing really sparkly, detailed, custom, gemstone-like designs and paintings. And this first artist, of course, is Kurt Pio. Being from South Africa himself, he really loves to show that symbolism of the culture, where the gemstones come from, just really showcasing the aesthetic, the overall just gorgeous beauty and symbolism of love and connection and gift giving as well. And really just on the surface of it, I love seeing all the colors, the shapes, the just striking nature of his artworks whenever I do see them. During my time in college, I did a drawing advanced class where we actually had to take inspiration from other artists to do really detailed drawing, symbolic artwork. And I chose him as one of my top artists that I was inspired by in terms of diamonds and jewels and gemstones and the symbolism within those. So much so that I made a whole series based on just doing diamonds and studies on them, the different shapes and just the geometric overall beauty of them, and challenging myself to abstract it and really sit down and understand the drawing aspect of diamonds and gemstones. When I was doing my research on him and just hearing what he has to say in interviews and when he's really talking about his own ideas and theories on what he's doing in his work, he uses the word seduction a lot, seeing how gorgeous and beautiful and shiny something is. And you can really see that in his work and really in the whole idea of diamonds, sparkly gemstones, the colors, rubies, you name it, anything like that is just so beautiful, and he really captures that in his work, showing that inviting, overtaking, seductive artwork, something that has a very striking look to it that you just have to go forward towards, you have to want, you want to want. And overall, for me, he just seems like an artist that symbolizes love and connection and giving and seduction and detailed work, and also just an overall beauty and glamour. It's as simple as that, and that's why he's one of my top favorites for sure. The next artist I'd like to talk about is a very special, impactful, trailblazing artist, really, someone who made a huge difference in her own craft into fine art and definitely made a name for herself in terms of her own skill set and what she had to offer. And this particular culture-changing artist is, of course, Bisa Butler. She, of course, was a teacher for a very long time, which I think is very, very honorable and something that inspires me in a lot of ways because it seems like she has such a kind and giving nature to her. She was best known for her quilting, which she turned into such a phenomenal, detailed, proper technique that, you know, otherwise quilting and such was considered more of a craft, but because of how hyper realistic and hyper detailed that she was within her quilting skill sets, they consider her, of course, a fine artist because of that. So she's definitely taken ideas of crafting, arts and crafts, and altered them for the better, altered them into a fine art category. And I find that so inspiring and so unique, and something that you wouldn't expect to happen, but because she had such a dedication and love for it growing up around her mother and grandmother sewing and doing quilting, that she took that and she made it her own, and then she really caused a whole difference in the art community and how they see and view crafts and quilting and sewing. It can really be considered a fine art. And with that even being said, I think there's lots of things that still are considered maybe not quote unquote fine art, but can definitely find their way into it with the right amount of dedication, skill set, and professionalism. Now on to my third artist, who is a classic American pop art painter, who we all know is an artist that I always see whenever I go to any gallery that has pop art or even mid-60s artwork that really made a lot of different pioneering individuals. And this particular artist, of course, being Roy Lichtenstein. His artwork definitely was more towards the ideas of parody and the struggles of American life, but also having a certain sense of humor towards that. Really, when you first see these artworks, you get that immediate drama, the feminine energy. I get a lot of that feminine energy. I know a lot of others do too when they see his work. Just the overall heartbreak and emotion and action, still life, caught in the moment, kind of capturing these particular specific memories or events that happen in these characters' lives, really. And Roy is absolutely one of those artists who has taken that and created something completely iconic, completely his own. He is one of my top favorite artists when I think about pop art. The first artist out of the two that were referenced to me and the fourth on my list is Natalie Wiseman. She is an American contemporary artist who gets a lot of her inspiration from everyday items, trains of thoughts, if you will. She can really be considered a surrealist artist, a hyper-realistic artist who has these really simplistic everyday item subjects, but also has things that kind of represent trains of thoughts. It's these gatherings of items and objects and scenery that really give a lot of inspiration in terms of how beautiful everyday items around you can be and how you can really capture that, especially in an artwork, especially in an essence of giving it a painterly outlook. And she does such an amazing job at having such high detail and patience for her work. I did read from her website that she gets a lot of that inspiration from motherhood, from having a family. She takes these items, she takes these moments in her life and creates something absolutely breathtaking. I love it. I love it. I find myself wanting to do that. I find myself wanting to make sure I take inspiration from her. She has such pure accuracy and just pure talent, really. And speaking of realism and such inspiration in terms of subject matter, my second reference artist and last artist on my list is CJ Hendry. She is an online social media artist that gives so much to her aesthetic and ideals and events and pop-ups and showcases, overall just image in general. I have a lot to learn from her and inspiration to take from her because she is such an active, literally such an active artist online in terms of posting constantly, updating constantly, and creating consistently. On top of having such an active, consistent reputation, she has such hyper-realistic work. Similar to a lot of my artists on this list, she does things on a very large scale. I picked her not only because she's a reference from my friend, but also because she has such a vast, sublime way of looking at artwork and making her artwork that I find very important for me to put in this list, because all of these artists have such a high impact in terms of large scale, but also in terms of just super hyper realistic detail, technique, and practice and talent to them. And she is by far one of those top ones too, who just has such an admirable talent to her work and has such a hold on what it is that she does and who she is and how she has placed herself in the community. Unmatched, really. I highly recommend looking her up, and I am so happy to have her a part of my listings because now I get to keep up with her and keep talking with my fellow artist friends and local art community in terms of what she's doing, what she's updating, and what other fun scavenger hunts she might even do in New York again. It's just so cool. And of course, her being in New York, it's like, come on, that's such an inspiration to me, and I find that to be so exciting and endearing to be able to watch her every time she updates. Keeping up with her is just such an important thing for me at this point because she keeps me motivated, keeps me going, and it's like watching a movie of an artist just kind of happening live. So really overall, I hold her in a really special place in my heart in terms of talent, inspiration, and overall community. Alrighty, well that's it. That is my top 5 artists of my birthday month for November. I have to admit I'm not particularly thrilled about my birthday per se, but I definitely do love this time of the month. The closer it gets to Christmas time and the new year even, I can't help but get excited. So I hope you guys enjoyed these top 5 artists. They are all really impactful and special in their own ways. I highly recommend literally keeping up with them because a lot of them are super active on their social medias, but also keeping them really close in terms of if you're kind of lacking that motivation or that inspiration and finding what you're going to be in this art community if you are an artist, looking up these artists and getting to know their stories is, these ones in particular, out of, I would say even all of them, they have such unique and different aspects on how to just begin and make your own. So just really keep them in mind because they help me a lot and they keep me motivated, and overall these top 5 artists give me so much excitement for what is to be, what is going to come, what I'm going to be able to do as long as I stay dedicated, motivated, and I think that that can be applied for all artists. Yeah, that's it. I'll see y'all next video. Okay, bye.